Seems like a natural first question, Elaine, is the title. It's a title that could be taken any number of ways by a reader going into the book. What was your thinking behind choosing that title?
It was meant to be a title that worked on more than one level. So on one level, Faith is a character. Faith with a capital F is a character. She's one of three friends, three very good friends who attend the same Montreal synagogue. Faith was also with a small f, something that I wanted to explore a little bit. What do people do when they go to a place of worship? Is faith even part of it? It seemed to me that today having faith is almost like an embarrassing kind of thing, and I wanted to sort of look at that openly. And faith is the name of the congregation. Emunat Emunah means faith in Hebrew. So this is a congregation named after the principle or the idea of faith, because there is a real community in here. Faith also works in another way, and that's like the quality of being faithful. So there are different kinds of plays on that in the book, among the different couples in the book. So faith and lack of faith, loyalty and disloyalty, betrayal, so on, are also themes that could go under that rubric.
It's a very Montreal novel, Montreal specific, in fact, even maybe one area of Montreal specific and one community. I wonder if, for readers who might not be that familiar with that part of Montreal and the culture that's associated with it, if you could just say a little about that.
Well, I really wanted it to be set in Montreal. I've written several books that have a Montreal connection. I've written about, in nonfiction books, I've written about the writers of Montreal. I've written a book with Brian Demchinsky called Storied Streets, Montreal and the Literary Imagination. So Montreal has, I've written a book set in Montreal with Montreal's history as a background. So Montreal is very, very much a going concern in my life, and the locale itself. So in fact, when I wrote that book with Brian Demchinsky, it was like charting the city in literature. And it seemed to me that like most books, or a great many books, concentrate on certain aspects of the city, the river, the mountain, the main, the plateau. These are the places that make it into literature. I thought, well, why couldn't my characters live in the West End? You know, why can't you set a novel in Côte Saint Luc or NDG or Hampstead? And so that's what I decided to do. My little universe, as you mentioned, I live in NDG. I've lived here for the past many decades. So I thought that, you know, you could draw up references to that without it becoming any more different than a novel set in the West End of London, let's say, or in a specific part of Toronto.
You've said that, and maybe it was in reaction to some of the heavy subject matter of some of your previous books, that you'd set out to write a fairly light book, and correct me if I'm wrong, or paraphrasing incorrectly, a light book, a happy book.
I wanted to be lighthearted.
Yeah.
I wanted it to be satirical, and I think I tried to keep it that way. But I wanted it to be about friends and the good feelings that a friendship does with luck engender, and the support and the fun of it. And indeed, I think that I have maintained some of that in the book. But when I first thought about it, I didn't realize that friendship could have a darker side, and that's the side of loss. So in the period from when I began to toy with the idea of writing about this and the actual execution of the book, I lost first one and then another of my very, very closest friends. And these were like body blows. Mm-hmm. So I still want to write about friendship, but I wanted to accommodate that darkness in the book as well, without it making it a somber book. Mm-hmm. So So there's a certain element of the dark came in and had to come in, because life isn't all lightheartedness, even when you take that view that that's what you want to do. And humor was very important to the writing of this book. So I hope that that has permeated it to some extent.
Okay. How are we doing, Dave?
Awesome.
A little more?
If you got one more, I'll do it. I'll record it.
Okay, give me a second here to frame it.